It is a treasury of children's poetry, edited by Allison Sage, and a foreword by Michael Rosen. And this has got, I was surprised to find, a pretty good array of poems and stuff in it. And it gets ugly. It's got parts of it. It's got Maya Angelou in there, the poem that doesn't rhyme, and you just have to take a black marker and just put a big X through that so you know not to read it. But, you know, page 1, Peter Peter Pumpkin Eater. Now the kid's gonna have fun reading that. This got a big colorful picture. The kid's 3, maybe he's 4 years old, okay? And you're telling him to read these words by himself. It's going to take you 10 minutes to get through Peter Peter Pumpkin Eater. Because each time he sees the word Peter, he's going to have to figure it out again. Now that's only going to happen for a week or two when you start him reading. Just for a week or two. But until he gets it automatized, the word Peter is a new situation each time he sees it. Just like for you, any new skill takes time for you to automatize it. So he starts out on Peter Peter Pumpkin Eater, Jack and Jill went up the hill, Tom Tom the piper's son, Humpty Dumpty, Seesaw Magri Daw, One for a Tangle, Hickory Dickory Dock, Mouse ran up the clock. Lots of good little poems in there. You just got to be careful later on. And if you don't know what comprises a good poem, I'll just tell you real quick. It's got to have rhyme, or rhythm, or beat, or all three in some measure somewhere. E. Cummings is out. Everything he wrote is out. Even the ones that partially rhymed are out just because he wrote other poems that were bad. So that's a good place to start, is someplace like that, just to start the kid getting familiar with sentences. Really, really soon, you can start going to other books. Now, some people think you have to give him a book that's very restricted in vocabulary. That's true on a very small scale, because think of the fact, the kid walks into the store with you, and he walks down the street and he watches TV or listens to the radio. He hears adult vocabulary all the time. All the time he hears adult vocabulary. Unless, you know, he lives in, I don't know, unless you keep him in a slum and lock him in the room or something. He's going to hear adult vocabulary. There's no reason he can't read adult vocabulary. And I'm not talking swear words, but, you know, intelligent words. Now, from the book How to Tutor, we're going to go to part 2, page 29. Quote, at the beginning of the chapter here, reading is the most important single skill a child will learn during his entire school career. So on the ability to read depends everything else. All we got to do is get him started reading. That's the first step. We have to get him started. So the first thing you do is you teach him the alphabet. And you introduce each letter by name. You point to the letter and you tell the child, this letter's name is A. Then you point to B and tell him this letter's name is B. Teach him several letters at a time. Now, remember the crow epistemology. 3 is good. 4 is heavy. 5 is borderline on too many. If you want it to work well, go with 3. Teach him A, B, C, and D, E, F, G, H, I. Now, in my experience with a young student I have right now, she knows the alphabet song, but she doesn't yet know her letters by name. So her parents have taught her the tune, the melody, and the words, but words to her doesn't mean anything yet because she doesn't have the alphabet yet. So we're teaching her the ABCs, and she can sing the alphabet song, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, but she mispronounces some of the letters because she misunderstands. She doesn't know what's going on there. And so the other day we're singing it, and as we're singing it I'm pointing, this is her 3rd or 4th lesson, and I'm pointing to the letters as we go, and I see a light bulb come on. She's like, oh my goodness. So each word I say corresponds to a given letter in this big old crazy thing we're trying to learn called the alphabet. So it's good to connect it one at a time within the crow epistemology and to have the song down, but remember that it's all just floating abstractions. You have to tie it together and integrate it. So just teaching her the song, she doesn't know what the names of the letters are still, And teaching her the names of the letters, she needs to be able to get to them in alphabetical order so she can recognize them, because they're hard to recognize at first. What's the difference between P and R? The R's got the little diagonal thingy. But, try recognizing that when you're 2 years and 10 months old. So, give it to them digestible chunks at a time, and remember, it's going to take them time to learn it. And remember that we're going to want to teach them writing at the same time. You want to teach them the upper and lower case, and you're going to teach them to write them at the same time that you teach them to read them. So reading and writing, or what linguists call coding and encoding and decoding, are two parts of one skill and should be learned simultaneously. Now, today they teach the kid the alphabet, and they don't even really stress, they don't try to teach them that it's a system of sound symbols or anything like that. They just teach them the sound it makes and the name of the letter, and they don't even focus on that very hard, and the next year maybe they start teaching them some words. So it's just pathetic the way they do it today. But I have here one of my students' folders, and inside we just start with the letters, the upper and lower case. I just say, this is the letter A. We do 3 of these a day. I just color them in. Letter A, B, C. We do those the first day. The next day we do D, E, F. We just color them whichever color she prefers to color. And I just say, this one's a circle with a line. That's a small d, and this is a line with a hump. Now it's all gone. By the end of the day, all she remembers is that we did 3 funny looking letters. But by the 3rd day, she's now able to say that's the letter A and the other is the letter B. Now that we're down on D, E, F, and we've sung the alphabet song quite a few times, we keep pointing at the alphabet, a few of the letters are starting to click. And after a couple months of that, then you can get somewhere. Then you can start teaching them all kinds of words once they can do all the letter sounds. But the next page we got is just the uppercase and lowercase of each letter. And this is where we're going to practice handwriting when we get to that point. This young student here, she's only 2 years and 10 months old. So her hand coordination is really iffy right now, and we're going to have to start with large letters and just a couple at a time. So, then we have the rest of our blanks that we go through as we get to them. And back here we have some basic sentences. And after she gets to know some of the words, after she gets to know some of the letters, we teach her some of these basic sentences. Bob wants jam. Tom has wax in his hand. Bob has no land. Sally sat on her land. Sam has an axe. You notice there's nothing confusing in here. There's no TH sounds. There's no CH sounds. There's no TION like caution or whatever. There's no SH sounds. It's all simple one letter and very short words. So, use this motivator and say, we're going to learn these. We're going to be able to read this sentence to me. So it's very fascinating to get the child to have a goal to work towards, just a basic goal like that. A little bit further in we have mathematics. We just teach her the letters 1 through 9, teach her how to write them. Now, this young lady can already can already count to 15, so she's okay that far. She just hasn't connected it to the fact there's written symbols and so forth. So we have to learn to read that too. And then we just start on addition once we get all that down. And this is the first couple months of instruction. Okay, now we assume that the child has learned the alphabet. And we're now ready to teach him the sounds of the letters. So first you get him so he knows the name of the letter A, right? Then you get him to know the sounds of the letter. His knowledge of the alphabet does not have to be letter perfect before we move on to this next phase, so you can meld them together. Once he knows quite a few of the letters in the alphabet, start teaching him the sounds. And then he can, as he's learning the new letters, he can learn the sound and the name of the letter at the same time, these later ones that he's got still fuzzy. So when you're ready to teach the letter sounds, you tell the child, we're going to learn the sounds of each letter it stands for, so you can put the letters to work for you, so you can read. You'll be able to put the letters together to make words, And you'll be able to read words because you know the sounds the letters stand for. Now, this in essence is what you want to convey to the child.